Hello everyone, my name is Binks and welcome back to Let's Play The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, where we're continuing in the third case of the game, The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Now, as I said last episode, this will probably, most likely, like 95% sure this is the last episode that you guys will be seeing for quite a while. I got confirmation of the arrival date, and it's like 2 weeks from now. So we will be rushing to finish preparation, and by preparation I mean I have to move. I have to finally finalize moving my room upstairs. And by upstairs, it's technically like the upstairs floor, the upstairs apartment. It's finally happening because we've been meaning to do it for the longest time, and now that we have the electrician coming and he's going to be starting to do the work, I should be also able to move my office as well. So all of that is happening, and I have to do all of this in like 2.5 weeks before the relatives come. So it's a lot. So I'm exhausted. So I'm also sick, by the way. Don't know how. I don't know if it's like a relapse of the COVID or something else that my mom has brought into the house because, like I said, I don't go anywhere. I work from home. I don't go anywhere. I don't have a social life. All my social life is online. So, yeah, Binks is sick again. Uh, I'm not coughing, which is great, but yeah, I'm sick. Like, what the frick? This is just never ending. But anyway, so this break from recording is much needed. I need the time to work on all of the house stuff, and I need the time to vocal rest because yeah, my throat and all of that hurts. So uh anyway, limited commentary. Yeah, you guys were so kind. You were like, no, I don't want you to do limited commentary because I liked your commentary, which I appreciate. And as you saw, I have a hard time limiting myself anyway. I'll probably still make some commentary, but I'm in a hurry, so gotta do what I gotta do. Let me at least finish this investigation portion. I'm definitely not going to be able to do any trial, but I don't know how long this hiatus will be. Maybe a whole month. I hope not, but we'll see how long the relatives will be here. Anyway, Kazuma, is that you, my darling? Oh, the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you. At least he's polite to his person, his little assistant that he had sitting in the corner. I still feel bad about that. The little measly little desk he had. This is the first time she's seeing him. Come on now, Sato, come on. You have to get the vibe. You know him very well. Like, you have to be like, oh my god, is that him? Like, come on. If if Nodohodo got the vibe, you have to get the vibe. Are you alright? I think she is. I think she's like, oh my gosh. Like you can get the aura, like from his like posture and stuff, right? Who who is this man? Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Von Zeke's apprentice, apparently. So I'm not the only one. Yeah. Sato-san can see it too. Um, Lord Von Zeke's, may we speak with your apprentice for a moment? Yes, yes, good, good, Susato, yes. With him? Why? No, don't run away. Oh, yes. Susato, you go, girl. You go, girl. She knows. She knows. A woman's intuition. Kazuma-sama. Oh, he reacted. Kazuma? Oh? Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Are we going with the trope? I think we're going with the trope, y'all. I think he lost his memory. So at least he can speak. Okay, because I was kind of, I think, yeah, I was kind of like worried that he couldn't speak anymore, but. So he did lose his memory. Oh shit, soap opera tropes, here we come. You're give me some angst. Oh, I can't wait to read fanfiction. Soap opera tropes. Amnesia. Yes. Strong heart. You mother. Strong heart, there's no way you didn't know. Keeping this man away from his people. I'm gonna fight you. Even if you had reasons because of the mission or whatever, I still want to fight you. Okay. I don't believe it. Your posture, your presence. It can only be. It's you. It's your soulmate. Of course you could. Yes, yes. He's not dead. I'm so happy. I'm so glad this is the last episode I get to record for y'all. I'm so happy. As if I knew him somehow. Deep in my heart and soul. Can it really be you, Kazuma? No! Wait. Too late. What's going on here? We have to talk to him. Help us! Von Zeeks, please! I know you don't. I know you're not to blame for this. What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know the man or something. Well, since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago. Lord Strongheart introduced him to me about 3 months ago now. With instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor. But he didn't tell you why, did he? Shady mother. Shady. The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. Yes. He's forgotten every last detail about himself. He has amnesia? Tomorrow he will appear in court at my side. What? He's to serve as my judicial assistant on Lord Strongheart's orders. He'll be in court with us. Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course. Oh, yes, thank you. Ah, stupid computer wants to update something. Hold on. Leave me alone. I definitely saw a reaction there. When Susato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. Oh no, it's on autoplay! When she called out Kazuma-sama... Ah, stop! Okay, I think it stopped. All because of the stupid update pop-up. When she called out Kazuma-sama... You'd already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes. Yesterday, in fact. At Lord Von Zeke's office.
I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is still alive, it means that Mr. Holmes lied to us.
Yes. Confront him.
I know. We're going to need to speak to him about that.
You're going to have to leave now.
Oh.
The forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly. If they find you here, it will cause problems.
What sort of problems?
Foreign affairs problems.
Well, we could do without that. Alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Mr. Sato.
Of course.
Alright, before we go confront Sherlock, let's go back here. No? She hasn't popped up? Because she keeps saying that we have to investigate more here. And I keep feeling like, did I miss something? I felt like I was so thorough. Ugh. Don't tell me I was like 1 pixel off of hitting something I needed to hit, because that's really annoying. Oh, are you kidding? I was 1 pixel off or something, because I was right here. Look, see? I clicked on this, but then I didn't hit this. I guess the book. Ugh. Alright, whatever. So I missed the one thing. Alright, fine. Be that way. Alright, at least we came back. Don't and then I guess this might trigger something. Maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just, you know, you needed to like fully examine the room before you'd be done.
Look at this big, thick book here.
Extra thick. Maybe this is like an evidence we need then.
Ah, it appears to be an accounting ledger.
Oh, okay.
It's a record of the...
Oh, this is useful.
A record of the forensic investigation team's spending, I think. Oh?
What is it?
It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but... Well, one entry seems rather strange.
Really? In what way?
They're buying 500 scalpels every month.
What? Why so many scalpels? My god. Are you losing them inside of people?
500? They must be working really hard on dissecting corpses.
I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances.
Yeah, that's shady.
And scalpel blades can be sharpened too.
It does seem a bit strange, you're right.
And you should be able to reuse them, you know?
500 scalpels a month. What could they possibly be using all of them for?
Alright. Now we're done? Oh, okay, we did trigger something. Oh god. No! I have to voice this new character, maybe? That lady again? Oh, I forgot what voice I said I was gonna do for her. Probably like a sexy accent or something. Because she seemed kind of sexy. Sexy lady. Oh, and I have to do that when my voice is shot to hell. No! Why do I keep getting sick? What are you doing? Ugh! Hello, lady. Ooh, so she says it looks like a snake on her hand. Which makes sense because I do see like the how do you pronounce that? Caudicus symbol on her tie.
which is you know, a symbol in the medical field, which is cool. I like her design. It's pretty cool. So, I was joking. So, remember I mentioned the whole Bone Daddy thing? So I was like, I was telling Sign, I was like, so does that mean that she's Bone Mommy? Because she has the Beatrice over there. Are you Bone Mommy? Which sounds weird, but I don't know what else to say. Are you Bone Mommy?
Sorry, we, had something we wanted to ask you, but you weren't here, so...
So you thought you'd snoop around? That's acceptable to you people from the East, is it? Well, what do you want?
I guess I'm kind of giving her, like, I kind of see her as, like, German as well, because of her name. Is she German as well? Well, she's probably British. I don't know. I kind of like the voice.
Lord Strongheart told us, you see, that it was you who examined the victim's body. Mr. Asmund's body, I mean.
Well, no, she's not German. You should just give her British then. I mean, these people are in London, so... So, we came to ask you about your findings? On Lord Strongheart's advice.
Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation revealed. But when we're done, you must leave immediately.
I don't know. I'll just say it's vaguely European. Whatever. Alright, sexy lady. What's up? Let's talk to you.
So, you want to know what the forensic investigation team determined from its examination of the scene? The victim, Mr. Odiasmin, who disappeared from the experimentation stage amid an explosion, and the Mr. Asmund who appeared moments later partway up the Crystal Tower, were without question one and the same person. That is the team's conclusion.
But that can't be right.
If it was an elaborate trick, we can only speculate about how it was carried out.
Let's see. If two people who looked very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as if one single person had switched places, couldn't they? Yeah, a body double or something.
Very true. But sadly, in this instance, that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who subsequently reappeared was the same person. The fingerprints at the scene make that quite evident.
Ah, the fingerprints.
They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system. But one day, they will be used as an investigative aid, as a matter of course.
Oh my, but that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually took place. So, where does that leave us?
My team was tasked with investigating, not drawing conclusions.
instantaneous kinesis is impossible, and yet the body did move from one place to the other. This hasn't cleared anything up at all. It's made the whole thing even more of a mystery.
Another character? Jesus Christ. Oh, what a weird look. Okay. Oh, she has a daughter? With a mask? Okay. Oh God. So many people to voice, and I'm probably gonna forget.
Mama, what is this?
Where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama?
This is a lawyer, dear.
Oh,
Hello. To meet you. Pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Mama,
Yes.
can I cut this one up?
Okay, what the frick? Excuse you, he's still alive, so no, you cannot just cut him up, crazy little girl. I don't think she's a little girl, but she's acting like it, like a psycho little girl.
What?
What the frick? Freaking psycho! Get away from her, she's crazy!
I've never seen inside an Eastern person before. I want to know what it looks like.
Of course you can't. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see.
Huh. Boring.
Okay. She's kind of crazy, so I was like, oh, I had to give her crazy voice.
I think I just had a near-death experience.
Poor Ryunosuke.
Oh dear. Mr. Naruhodo, you're as pale as a corpse. You're as pale as Beatrice over there.
Then let's leave before I'm mistaken for one. Well, I think we've done all the investigating we can here for now. Let's get out of here,
GTFO.
If we could just determine the whereabouts of Mr. Drebber.
I'm sure Gina and little Toby won't let us down. Now then, do you think we ought to try to speak with Mr. Holmes at this point?
Well, they're pretty much telling us that's the last thing we gotta do now.
We have things to discuss, and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months.
Yes, it's quite possible he might know something useful. You're right. We ought to find him at Madame Dispel's. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit.
Yes, Iris told me all about his latest unusual venture.
Alright, let's go. Before your crazy daughter tries to kill us.
Oh, we haven't been here yet, have we? I'm rather excited about it.
Gosh, crazy girl. He's still alive. You can't cut him up. Alright, Sherlock, you got lots of explaining to do.
Oh my. No wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I'd like to turn on my heels and go straight home, via the confectionery.
Being scared makes you crave sweets? I can understand that.
But you know, there's something about that waxwork over there. Looks exactly like Mr. Holmes down to the very last detail.
Aha.
What is it?
Oh, sorry. I think you'll find, that's the temporary waxwork himself.
Ah, the friend of my dedicated employee.
Oh, yes, hello again, my pretty lady, my pretty witch lady. It's Ryunosuke. Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
I must say, I am quite spellbound by the great detective. He is a marvel. My precious waxwork is already back where it belongs. Oh, you got it back already? Great.
You don't mean...
But yes, the mystery is solved already.
Wow, Mr. Holmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough.
So, as you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties.
Yes.
His habitual duties? Alors? Do not disturb, huh?
Poor Susato-san. She looks very perplexed.
Is there anything new for us to look at? Oh, looks like a curtain. But now that we have Susato with us, I guess we could look around and examine and see some new reactions with her, so...
Oh, what a horrifying scene! A murderer caught in the grisly act.
I know. And in case you were wondering, it's the one with the big knife that's supposed to be the killer.
Why would you say that?
I don't think that anybody would be in any doubt about that, surely?
And did you know that according to the description, the bathtub at the back has no particular significance?
What? Really? I would have thought it was meant to show that the killer also worked in a bathhouse, peddling criminal wares.
Aha! We have a new theory.
Right? It is weird. Like, why? What is up with the bathtub? Okay. We'll be fine. Look at this dude. Got his arm back.
That old policeman isn't here now, obviously. Still can't believe he just happened to be on the jury, though.
Yeah.
I'd understood that London has a population of 6 million people, and yet we keep bumping into people we know.
I know, it's ridiculous.
You do seem to run into the same people disproportionately often, don't you? Almost as if we're in a video game and the people don't want to have to, you know, people designing it don't want to have to keep making new models over and over and over again. This one's posture reveals his weakness.
Sorry?
The killer's stance leaves him wide open to attack. I'm quite sure I could see him off.
Always thinking about your throws, huh?
With a Susato takedown, then a Susato squash, and finally a Susato smash!
Right.
And if that doesn't render the culprit unconscious, a Susato slam should finish him.
Finish him! Oh my god, gotta see her in Mortal Kombat.
A Susato slam?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's rather hard to explain.
Don't tell me you use Book Fu on him. Book Fu is almighty.
Leave yourself open slightly and I'll demonstrate.
Absolutely not.
I have seen Book Fu. It worked, even in the letter, against an almighty ghost creature. The ladder.
Ah, there's a stepladder there, look.
Oh, yes, a stepladder.
I think perhaps we should let the proprietress know that someone's left it out. The stepladder, I mean. Something wrong?
Why do I feel as though I just managed to sidestep an argument?
Oh, I got an achievement. The top rung for having rung your hands through every something. I guess maybe I clicked on every ladder or something. Yeah.
We really do need to speak with Mr. Holmes, and I am longing to say hello again. But where is he? He's just dying to move, isn't he? He can't help it. He's really bad at this new job. Then again, I would hate to have to be staying still for so long.
I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually.
Oh, what? What are you... Indeed, my dear fellows, it is I, the world-famous great detective in waxwork, Sherlock Holmes.
Susato-san! Susato-san!
This poor woman. Look what you've done. My most humble apologies. I thought I'd died and gone to eternal paradise for a moment, via London. My dear madam, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free deduction at some point.
As long as it's not of questionable street food quality.
I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Holmes?
Merely secret identity, you understand? Though the case is largely solved now.
Largely solved?
We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume.
Indeed we are, my good fellow. As I predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess, I'm yet to partake of a pie, proverbial or otherwise, or any food so far today for that matter. Same, bro. Same. Oh, pobrecito. He's hungry.
That stomach rumble echoed around the whole museum. So, how did you manage to solve it so quickly?
Ah, well, do remember I said it was largely solved. Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone?
Oh yes, it's a most modern invention, allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet.
This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. She has a telephone? Wow. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned.
That's amazing.
Just between you and I, it would appear the culprit had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event.
Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no?
Yes, I think perhaps the ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive.
But
But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary?
A fact that I must ask you to keep from Madame Tuspel's at all costs. A hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street, after all.
poor Iris.
Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork? Oh, you have no idea, my man. I guess we'll talk about Enoch Drebber first.
We're in the process of trying to track somebody down.
Oh?
Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. He's the swindler who duped Professor Harebrain and the engineer who built the kinesis machine.
A swindler and an engineer. Quite the modern man.
He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts, too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. But we have so few clues to go on, that's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas?
I have no data yet.
It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. If I knew something of the man's appearance at least, I may be in a better position to help.
Yes, Trevor's appearance.
Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, I should gladly give you my thoughts on it. Okay, so we gotta present him the image, the picture. Okay, let's first confront you about Kazuma then.
Mr. Holmes, did you lie to us?
My dear Nodohodo, stay that piercing stare. What is this about?
Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain aboard the steamship. Your words were very clear.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder.
You told us that it was murder, and you examined Kazuma-sama's body.
Indeed. And wherein lies the problem?
We met him earlier today. The victim, Kazuma Asogi.
You're quite sure?
He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure it was Kazuma-sama. You must have known at the time, Mr. Holmes, that he wasn't actually dead.
Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere of the moment. No. Don't be blasé. Tell them the truth. But the fellow wasn't dead at all. Priceless. I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Mr. Nodohodo?
I could believe that the crewmen present at the time would make a mistake. But not you, Mr. Holmes.
I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that.
Please, Mr. Holmes.
Tomorrow, in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say. Oh, come on! I'm dragging this out. Like, is there a reason, like, you can't tell us now? I guess? I guess you figure, like, it's a time thing. Like, we'll figure it out eventually. But there are reasons we can't discuss it yet? For safety? Hate when that happens. I know. Just gotta be patient. I know you're not a bad guy. I know it in my soul. I believe in you, Sherlock. It's just very frustrating. Alright. I know they're frustrated too. We're in the same boat as them, pretty much. I give them kudos for not strangling him. That they're like really upset about it, I'm sure. Alright, let's look for present.
Mr. Holmes, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print?
It's of Mr. Enoch Trevor, the face of the engineer we seek.
Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course. So looking at the photograph won't be particularly instructive. Ah.
Are you alright, Mr. Holmes?
Well, that reaction. I'd say he does not look like your typical Englishman, dude. He looks very different.
Ah, yes, forgive me.
You recognized him? Is he part of the overall bigger mystery then?
Very interesting, this. Very interesting indeed. What's wrong, Mr. Holmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden.
Ah.
I have a suggestion, Mr. Nodohodo. Will you indulge me?
Oh, well, what is it?
As I explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned. And I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains.
Oh, yes, the professor exhibit, isn't it?
Would you like to see it? For a mere 5 shillings. That's a special one-time only price, you understand.
What?
The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Wouldn't you like to see the fruits of my labor? Oh, well, we do have a rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps we could postpone? The price is a very reasonable 5 shillings. I think you'll find it's well worth it.
Are you being quite serious, Mr. Holmes?
Surely you need only look at my expression to ascertain if this is seriousness or silliness.
I can never tell with you. That's the point.
Very well, it couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings. Gratefully received. So, the special exhibit awaits behind the curtain. I invite you to peruse it at your leisure. Well, the money's been spent, so let's go and see the special exhibit.
Through those heavy curtains at last.
Okay.
5 shillings we've had to pay. Doesn't seem right somehow that Mr. Holmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does he? Does it?
No. Ah, we could ask Gina to retrieve it for us using her special skills.
Pickpocketing police officers and diddling...
Diddling. Diddling. Sorry.
Diddling detectives. Is this what makes Britain great? Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands, or chip-loving inspectors.
Demigod.
Inspector Gregson comes off rather well on that list, I think.
He's the most normal of the bunch. Finally, a special exhibit. Gosh, I hope this is the last section. Oh my god. Is that supposed to have no head? That's a little shady. Did he really get it back? Is that really supposed to have no head? I think the head is missing. Unless she's doing something with it back somewhere else.
Oh dear,
That's really creepy.
uh, I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here.
Yeah, this is really creepy. Someone coming out of a grave? Were they grave robbing? What the hell is going on? I see someone with a shovel.
Mrs. Sato, I say we turn on our heels and go straight home via a really big confectionery.
You're both such cowards. You know this is a waxwork. Although the owl in the background is really creepy.
We certainly can't do that. We've paid 5 shillings already.
True.
Oh my gosh. This is super creepy though, I will say. The atmosphere. So who is the person with the shovel? Huh. What's with the music? It sounds like that thumping sound? Ooh, I don't like it. That thumping, I don't like it. It sounds like somebody's walking closer. Okay, it stopped. Thank goodness. Otherwise, it's cool, but the thumping was really freaking me out. Oh, Lord.
Actually, now I'm looking a little more closely. We've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of the great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place.
What a big hand. Those are yowie hands. That's a term they use for, like, BL, where for some reason they always depict especially, like, the top, the seme, his hands are always bigger than the bottoms. Like, why do they always make their hands so big? Like, I know men's hands are probably typically bigger than women's, but, like, are men's hands really that big? Tell me, men, are your hands that large? I never really pay attention, but, like, I don't think men's hands are, like, typically, like, that humongous, right? Jeez. I know that artists do always complain about, like, having a hard time drawing human hands, though. Like, it's always, like, an eternal struggle. I can't draw anyway, so kudos to you, man. I know it's a difficult thing. And proportion size and everything and all that must be a struggle anyway.
This must be what Mr. Holmes meant when he said the case was largely solved.
That the head is still missing. Okay. That is shady.
Be that as it may, Mr. Holmes heavily implied there'd be a clue about the engineer in here, didn't he? Where? Since we've paid 5 shillings, let's do 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we?
Yes, we will get what we paid for.
Is that fear or frustration that's making Susato-san's voice tremble?
Probably fear, but let's look. Let's see. Before we click on any of the big stuff first. Creepy owl. Can we click on any of the background stuff at all?
Doesn't matter if they're here in Britain or in Japan, graveyards are scary.
Now I come to think of it, this is the first time I've seen a British grave. According to what I've read, the custom in Britain is to bury the dead as they are, without cremation.
What? But if you do that, you might accidentally bury people while they're still alive.
I'm not sure that would be worse than accidentally incinerating people while they're still alive.
I think we can both agree that it's best not to be still alive when our time comes, then.
And what am I to say to that? Well, I'm sure back then in general they didn't have a lot of the prep work that they do now for people who are deceased, so... This must be the killer, the fiend known as the Professor. Why is his outfit like a prison outfit? A prisoner, right?
Yes, I think so, according to what Madame Tuspel said.
Well, I guess it's because he was already, like, caught and incarcerated when he died? But that's weird.
He killed 5 victims, all of noble or royal blood.
The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place.
I know, it looks like it could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only it had a head, that is.
But why would they depict him like this? It's just strange.
Perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail.
Okay, we zoom in. Can't look at, let me see the number and something, 139. Can't look at the one next to it. I mean, I guess the only thing of importance is the missing head then. So this is the condemned man.
Yes, the so-called professor.
Then perhaps his head was chopped off by a guillotine. But unable to find peace, he emerged from his grave as a headless ghost.
Do we have to detain such terrifying ideas, Mrs. Sato? Anyway, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's a metal fitting for it, see?
Then perhaps Mr. Holmes absent-mindedly forgot to reattach it?
That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it?
Or perhaps the thief absent-mindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum?
And that would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the head wasn't returned? Well, whatever the reason, it means we don't know what the face of the infamous professor looked like, do we?
It's a little shady.
Oh.
There's something caught just inside the convict's jacket here.
It looks like a piece of broken glass.
That confirms what I was saying. Because the wax figure's body was used. Yes, that glass is gonna match the glass that went, Oh, I'm so smart. Yes, the glass that was used at the tower. Okay, cool. It makes perfect sense.
Quite a big piece, too.
It's very thick, isn't it? About 5 times thicker than normal window glazing, I'd say.
Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from, I wonder?
I suppose it must have been made thick to increase its strength?
But why?
Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particularly wide area, such as in a big building, for example.
Ah, well, we've seen a large glass building recently, haven't we? And some of the glass was broken, too.
You don't mean... Yes, putting it together. There you go, baby. Proud of you.
Exactly. The Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition.
But why would glass from the Crystal Tower be lodged inside this waxwork's jacket?
It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it would appear to be from the Crystal Tower. Yes. Yes.
Earlier in court, we established that the kinesis experiment was a trick. And now we discover this fragment of glass here in this waxwork. Is it just a coincidence?
No. Finally, confirmation. Alright, let's examine this person. This is the one I'm most curious. Who is this? I see long hair. The hair looks dark, but... I'm gonna tell you who I think this is right now. Based on the profile and on the long hair,
I think, and he said this was connected to the engineer. I think this is Drebber. This is Drebber, isn't it? So, Drebber's the one who's right here? So he's connected to the professor, right? Was Drebber's with the shovel? Was Drebber gonna like grave rob or something? He's wearing a white lab coat, so he was like an engineer or scientist or something. What was he gonna do? Some kind of Frankenstein experiment or something? But what happened here? Was he like shocked and found that the professor faked his death and was like rising from the grave? Because they were mentioning how like, oh, they just buried them, but they could have buried them alive. But the professor was actually alive and he was escaping? Is that what's happening here? Oh shit, Professor Moriarty could... If anyone could do that, it would be Professor Moriarty. If this is who, you know... I'm just thinking, you know, with Sherlock lore, if the professor is supposed to represent Professor Moriarty, then I wouldn't be surprised. So, is this Drebber? Alright.
This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real.
Seems to be a young man in a white overcoat.
And he has a large shovel in his hand, too. Look.
Perhaps we should investigate in a little more detail.
Oh, what a weird angle. Can I zoom out or zoom in? Ugh, I hate that. Ugh. The angles. Ugh, come on. Sure.
What a large shovel. He's holding it rather ominously, isn't he? What on earth was the man doing with a shovel in a graveyard in the middle of the night?
Right? I think he's gonna grave rob.
Mrs. Sato,
Yes?
that's a spade, isn't it?
Again? It's a shovel, dude. Come on. Why do y'all do this?
No, it's a shovel.
I don't even, like, I think I don't even use the term spade ever in my life. Like, I think the only time I even think of spades is, like, cards. But I always think of spades for just gardening.
No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade.
We've been through this, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a shovel.
No. Although, we haven't considered trowels.
Oh my god.
We've allowed ourselves to be distracted, I feel. Perhaps we should concentrate on what the man was doing with the implement.
So we're going to bury the hatchet? You're right, though. What was the man doing in the graveyard in the first place? That's the real question.
Oh my god. I never ever thought that the next thing would be shovels and spades. So he has a camera. Interesting.
What's this here?
Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera.
A camera, but it's so small. British technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Holmes's skin prints?
I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Holmes's inventions as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, why would the man be in a graveyard at night with a camera?
I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film.
We'll just borrow this for a little while, I think. The camera from around the neck of waxwork in Madame Tispel's a special exhibit. Is that the actual camera that was used then? How did she get that? Does it still have the film? By looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can see what picture was taken.
What's a photographic plate?
It's a piece of glass coated in a special emulsion that reacts to the light coming in through the lens. If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look.
You should see yourself, Susato-san. Your eyes are shining. You really do like machinery, don't you?
It's a huge lantern, yeah.
It's quite a large lamp the man's carrying. Or is it a lantern? It's not unlike a Japanese chochin paper lantern, actually, is it?
Lamp, lantern, chochin. The point is, it casts very little light. To be walking alone in a graveyard at night with only this... Well, I certainly couldn't do it.
I'm not sure I could visit a graveyard at all, even in broad daylight, to be honest.
Okay. Anything else we can look at? Let's see his hair. Can we look at his face? Maybe? It's so hard to get the angle. Oh, kinda?
I can't see his face very well, can you? Perhaps if I just...
Oh, do you think you should be manhandling the exhibits, Mr. Naruhodo? Is it because we're short?
I'll put it back exactly as it was, don't worry.
Oh, they turned it.
Oh, it is him! I was totally right!
And he was still missing the eye there. Okay. Wow. Damn, I'm good. But the shape of his the hair, the shape of his face and all that kind of gave it away to me, so and what Sherlock mentioned in his reaction, so yeah.
Ugh.
What on earth? How can...
I don't believe it. A black monocle.
Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is...
Yes. It's Enoch Drebber.
The color of his hair is different, but...
It's unmistakably him.
Didn't expect him to be so important.
Indeed it is. Mr. Holmes.
This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe.
Yes, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? And why does the convict behind him have no head?
The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it.
What a surprise. So then the case isn't yet solved, is it?
Did I not say so myself? Largely solved with my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head, tout de suite, as Madame would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry iris still awaits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations.
Ah!
Do you know, though, something about this room is strange.
Strange? What do you mean?
Well, the displays in the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not?
Indeed they are, Mrs. Sato. Do go on.
And as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... This surely couldn't ever really have happened, could it?
I think it's time I educated you a little about the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago.
You're finally gonna tell me? Right when I'm like thinking, oh, it's time for me to end the episode? No, no, don't do this to me. No, I really have to end the episode. It's already an hour. Ugh. No, no. I'm gonna leave you guys hanging. No, I can't. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. Please let it be short though, because this is really long and I really gotta go. Please be brief. Alright. Because this is gonna be the last episode for a while, so hang in there. The resurrecting convict. That would have been a horrible place to leave it. I'm not that cruel. And plus, I'm dying to know. I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, every one being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound. So it was a dog, okay. It must be enormous though for that collar size, jeez. And had their throats ripped from their bodies, Jesus. Oh gosh, an enormous hound. How awful. So for Hound of the Baskervilles, they really did use a hound, okay. After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted.
A closed court. So you mean that the professor's identity?
As you've surmised, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. How convenient. Professor Moriarty, your identity is safe. So that's why they're just calling him Professor. Okay. Are we ever gonna find out? Or is he ever gonna be called Moriarty here? I doubt it. It might not even be Moriarty. It might be someone we know. It might be someone else. It might even be Strongheart, man. He's shady as hell. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. You're saying he's dead, but I don't know if I believe. I find that a little sus. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair. Oh? The very night that he was buried, the convicted man, yep, came back to life.
Came back to life?
He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene, as described by the sole witness to those chilling events. Why was he there with a shovel and a camera? That's the most shady part of it, right? Why was he there? Why did he have a camera? Everything about this is weird. How did he survive? You know? Everything about this is so strange to me. I feel like there's some bigger conspiracy going on.
There was a witness?
But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in the white overcoat.
Enoch Drebber. He saw it happen.
Okay.
So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drebber.
10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old.
It's so horrifying.
Scared out of his wits, the young Jabba ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. In the sheer terror of what he'd seen, is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Oh, wow. I've heard of that happening. I mean, I don't know if that really happens in real life, but it's been used in a lot of, like, movies and stuff to the point that it's like, is that possible? I actually wanted to research that and I forgot. Like, they said it was shock. Because I've heard about the reason people's hair turning white is because of our, like, the actual cells, the hair cells dying, you know? Like, they're no longer able to absorb the, like, the, whatever causes the color. I forgot the term. Not melanin. There's a term for that. I think it's melanin. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. They always say it's shock. Interesting. I gotta do some research into that whenever I have time, if I remember.
Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white.
For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page in the capital. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Tuspel's.
I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place.
Exactly.
In a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night. Yes, what was he up to?
The professor's acts of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever been systematically employed, had never ever before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder.
Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had.
But in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale.
But why did people stop believing it?
Why? Simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established, in fact.
What do you mean by no resurrection?
The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution.
No! But that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police and the newspapers.
That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society, and nothing has been heard of him since. I could see why he would be angry and want revenge after that then. Because people want to talk bad about him. Like, maybe he really did see that, but then after he left to report it, something happened, right? Because if he left the scene, who knows what else happened? Because why would he say that? Like, why? It's like, what benefit would he have to lying about that? Because now they're calling him crazy and not believing him. And his hair turning white? That doesn't just happen. It's rather striking, then, that he should resurface now, don't you think?
Of course, the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life. That's not possible. But Drebber's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock,
Exactly.
it's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie.
Oh, someone's screaming. Oh. Gina. Wasn't expecting you here. What the blatant Nora? Odo, what have you gone and done?
Gina, what are you doing here?
I was trying to end the episode. Why are you showing up here? I asked Iris and she said this is where you'd be, so... So? Gina, not so loud in the museum. Madame Tussauds will have you take a position as a waxwork if you're not careful.
I think there might be a more pressing concern.
I still had some flash powder left from 6 months ago, so... So? Alright, Gina, we understand, but please put down the gun. Sorry, I got scared.
You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel. So what brings you here, Gina?
What brings me here? What do you think? We found it. We found that dodgy cove's workshop.
What? You found Drebber's workshop?
Yep. Toby's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in a drag, so come on. Here's the address. Got the boss to write it out. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. Alright then, see you there. Oh, snap. You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still.
What?
I know my place. In the exhibit over there. Oh dear, someone is feeling sorry for himself. We actually do need your help, Mr. Holmes, so... You pain in the butt.
Let's go, Mr. Holmes. You're coming.
Your words hearten me, I must say. But if I were to shirk my duties here, Madame would have me pay monetary recompense, since Iris's dinner plate would...
Forget that. I'll pay for everything, you crybaby.
Do we even have money for that, sir? Wait, what did he say? Iris's dinner plate would be empty once more. Guilting us, huh? Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail a carriage at once.
No offer to share the cost from Mr. Holmes, then.
I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ah, thank you, Mrs. Sato. You're a saint. Right, let's go.
Alright, now I can end the episode. Alrighty. We're leaving it somewhere interesting. Sorry, but we covered a lot. A lot of stuff happened. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. So sorry that that's where I have to leave it. I was hoping to finish the investigation section, but it's much longer than I thought. Oh, wow. A lot of information. A lot happened. I'm happy at least we confirmed that that is Kazuma. We pretty much confirmed. But it's sad that he has amnesia. But geez, the whole thing with the professor and now Drebber, like, oh wow, that's really interesting. I'm excited. I look forward to recording whenever I have free time. But it's gonna be few and far between. So yeah, I hope to have a little backlog established for whenever my relatives are gone. So once they're gone, I'll have a nice little backlog to start uploading again for you guys. So I'll probably have videos back in October. I don't know. Anyway, have a nice September, you guys, because I just can't believe that now this is what it's come to, but it is what it is. Sorry. Anyway, uh, I hope you guys stick around and don't quit on me and unsubscribe just because I'm gone for a while. In the meantime, if you want to, check out my other LPs in the past, want to see what else I've done, in case you miss me, I would appreciate it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will miss you. And yeah, until next time, have a nice day. Bye bye.